Recording in progress. All right. This is episode -5 of the Rise Up podcast, featuring your host and co-host, Danny and Haley. Um, this is going to be a nice intro into what we're doing with 75 Hard. And we're going to talk a little bit about what we've been up to with that. Because it's very unnatural for both of us to be on camera like this. This is how we're starting off with just a bunch of unfiltered, unedited stuff and see if anybody wants to listen. If you do, please tune in, leave a comment, let us know what you think. Haley?
Yeah. So if you're watching this, I am on my walking pad because I think it's better for me to move and think, and it makes me feel more comfortable being on camera here. Because as we've talked about many times, it's not natural to stare at yourself while talking. So it's one thing to even have to stare at you on here, but seeing myself and whatnot is just a whole other factor. So I'm sure in time we'll both get the hang of it. If you're just listening, I apologize for that ramble.
Yeah, that is fair. I'll say let's start with talking a little bit about 75 Hard and why we've been doing it, what it is. I know it's trending again because it's New Year time and everybody's like all New Year, new me. So just like that, I guess we hopped on the trend, but a lot earlier than most. But if you guys are new to this, 75 Hard is basically a mental toughness program created by Andy Frisella. Shout out to him. There are basically five main tasks to get done every day. One is your workouts. So there's two 45-minute workouts. One has to be outdoors, especially great timing to do it in winter in January in Iowa. Um, the other tasks are a gallon of water, following a diet, reading 10 pages of a self improvement book, and taking a progress picture.
And
Haley,
no alcohol.
yes, no alcohol, which I feel like is the one that everybody kind of forgets about.
I mean, we've been on this journey. As a quick side note, we could probably have a whole episode about the no alcohol thing, how alcohol's played a role in our life, and how we've been trying to disconnect from it for various reasons and figure out why it became a staple. So that's a whole nother side note. But 75 hard. This is my third January. In this previous summer into fall, you and I, Danny and I, decided to complete 75 hard then. So this would be your second go round of
Yep.
full completion because I'm on day 12, Danny's on day 9, and the plan is to get the whole thing done and then maybe try out phases 1, 2, and 3, which is something to talk about at a later date. So right now, it's been going pretty well the first couple days, and today we have about 18 to 24 inches of snow on the ground. The winds are, I'm not sure how many miles per hour. Maybe Danny would know here in a second. And it feels like negative 20s. We just completed our outdoor workout not too long ago, did a little more shoveling for like the third day in a row. Feels like all week. And froze our noses off, but we survived. It's possible.
Yep. As much as I wanted to just, not do it, I was like, all right, you committed to this. That's the whole thing. The whole point of 75 Hard is you're going to keep the promises you make to yourself. And if I can do a outdoor workout in -20-degree weather, shovel snow, and then walk, then I can pretty much do anything. And I can probably get through it when it's easy. And you just realize that it's just excuses you make to yourself when you don't do the work. And what I think, not to keep rambling here, but 75, the reason I did it is to keep those promises I make to myself and start to trust myself and realize that there's things you can do you think that are impossible, that if you put your mind to it, you can do it.
Exactly. It's a way to dial back in and prove to yourself you're capable of doing things you may not believe you can do. So for us, it's just getting those tasks done and preparing for success, but also the unexpected. I think that's something we both every day have to overcome the unexpected things with work, the weather. Your heated clothes didn't show up on time for this negative 20 degrees. So instead, you're resourceful. You wear 5 pairs of pants you can find in the house.
Yep.
It's just about overcoming things in life, and it gives you great lessons to just make you what more grateful. Is that like a
Yeah.
word?
Yeah, I think that's a new word we can make. Gritful. I like that. It's like
Re-
grateful, but gritful, you know? I like that.
or or resilient. I don't know. Either one is fine.
Resilient is good. Tough. Um, no nonsense, no excuse. Like just do the dang thing, you know? That's why we're doing this, you know? We've been terrified of
Mhm.
doing this for years. I mean, I know you haven't wanted to do this since you were a kid, but I've wanted to do this since I was a kid. And I let a lot of things get in my way. Here we are, just pushing through.
Right. And this has never been on my docket. Being being on the camera has never been my groove. But I feel like I have a lot to share. My own experiences, life, and this last year of 2023 threw a lot of curveballs my way. And so why not start something like this with you to kind of talk about what we've been through, how far we've come, and just life, being human and not to be so hard on yourself or not to let things consume you. So, that's where 75 Hard, starting every year this way, has just been kind of a reset for me, doing it my way, which we could talk about that more later on. Basically, I guess we don't want to go on a tangent, but failure, I don't do it the Andy way. Um, I don't give up, but I don't start over. That's because I do the best I can every single day. And if that means I have 30% to give, I'm going to give 30%.
And you've been doing it that way for a long time. And I think it's worked well for you. And I think you've pushed yourself in the last couple of times. Each time you do it, I feel like you get better and more grit. Like I remember the first time when it was probably around the same weather it is now. And you were like, no, I'm gonna walk inside. It's fine. It counts. And I'm like, I don't know if that really counts. And I'm like, whatever, it's fine. And then now, like we went out and did it today. And it's like the more and more you do it, the more and more grit you build, the more and more toughness you build, and the more you can do these kind of crazy things.
Right. The more you believe in yourself, that you're capable of more than you think you are. That's the whole thing here. It's not about failure, starting over. If that works for Andy, I totally respect that if that's his way of doing things. But for me and my, background in fitness and going to college for that and trying to always be a fit and healthier person, I feel there needs to be a balance in life.
Definitely. And I would say, like, we didn't fail the last go around. Could we have
No.
dialed in our diet and if there was better guidelines for that, in the program? 100%. Should I have been eating, chicken wings and Chipotle? But my diet was to bulk, right? So it kind of fit in there. So I didn't think I failed. But if I had said, hey, I'm going to hit this particular macro number, this particular micro number, I'm going to do a ketogenic diet or I'm going to do a carnivore diet or something crazy, and then I don't stick to it, that's failure. But I don't think we even failed per se. We got all our tasks done every day for 75 days.
Right. I mean, how do you define failure? An opportunity to succeed. You learn from it, you get better. I think we push ourselves every day. So for you, it was hard to just eat sometimes,
Oh, yeah.
and even if you had to fill it with, things that are not as healthy for say, it
Garbage.
was still just okay. Still, it was just about getting the food in, eating more, trying to prove to yourself that you could gain weight, whether others see it healthy or not, it doesn't matter. It's about what you believe.
Yep. And that's what I wanted to do was gain weight for so long. And it took last year to what? I think May, I hit 127 pounds, was my lowest weight in what, 3, 4 years. And I looked at myself in the mirror and I said, okay, that's really highly underweight for my height. That's an awful. I know BMIs aren't really legit, but they make a good point sometimes. So I gained what, about 10 pounds, a little 13, 14 pounds. I'm pretty happy with that from last year. And now if I could do that again this year, I'll be pretty happy with that this year.
Yeah, I agree. You will have changes happen as long as you stick with it and complete it the way that it's written.
Yes.
There's little loopholes here and there as we talked about. But, the first time I did this, I did lose probably like 10, 15 pounds, but that's hard for me to maintain just day to day in and outs of life. So right now it's more of maintaining, but I still see changes in my body. So it's beyond the scale for me personally. I just want to eat less sweets because we're coming out of that Christmas holiday time where it's just all around you. Everywhere there's sugar and crap. And so just tapering that out, getting a hold of like kind of control again over what I'm doing and why I'm doing it. So for me, it's a lot more mindset, maintaining where I am, but still working hard every single day to keep my body moving and at least maintain where I am, or maybe see some recomp if possible.
I think that's a good way of doing it. I mean, this is your what, fifth go around now?
Fourth.
Fourth?
One, two, three, four. I believe so. I think it's my third January, and then we did the one in the summer.
So it was what, 2021, 22, 23? This might be, yeah,
20.
because you did 21, 22, 23, 23 again. Yeah, this is the fifth go around for you.
Oh, sure, lose track. Every time is different.
Yeah.
Even though the list is the exact same, every time is different for me, and that's what I like about this is it's a general guideline. It's not easy, but it's doable.
Well, that's the thing. It's make continuing, and I'm going to keep harping on this, is trusting yourself and keeping the promises you make to yourself. Like, I think what the reason I failed the first three times, because I tried doing it with you originally back, was 2021. And the reason I failed is I kept adding random things that didn't belong on the 75 list. I didn't believe that I could complete it. I, it would be like 7 o'clock and I'd be like, ah, I'll just go to sleep. It's fine. It's whatever, instead of going, no, this is a non-negotiable. This is something I said that I'm going to do, so I'm going to get it done. That's the reason partly I didn't want to start it those first 3 days and why I'm 3 days behind you, because I wasn't feeling 100%. I was still sick. And also I was like, there's no way I'm going to complete it. And then I'm going to be disappointed in myself if I fail, because I would have probably started over. If I failed, one or two times in a row, I probably would have started over. But it had to be that time where I was like, okay, now I'm comfortable with saying, okay, we're going to do it now. And here we are.
Yeah, and it kind of how I apply this is into life. Like I can't just start life over, right? If I miss a couple things every day, I'm not gonna be like, oh, let's rewind and replay those days. So for me, it's like, okay, that wasn't as great as it could have been, and that's okay. So let's just do it tomorrow or that next hour or whatever it is. It's just a matter of getting back at it and not just letting it slip away.
Exactly. Planning your day out, getting through it, making sure you get it done, and having it as a non-negotiable. If you got to walk on the treadmill while you're reading and finish your water at 9:30 p.m. like I did last night, just got to do that because that's how you set up your own day. There's nobody but to blame but yourself.
Right. And that's a perfect tangent into going that's a perfect way of going into time management is probably the number one thing to be successful because we have all those tasks. If you save them for the end of your day, oh buddy, good luck. So as soon as you wake up, if you need that coffee, have that coffee, but then start that water. And as you know, the half gallon water bottle is just a game changer. It helps so much. You only have to fill that thing twice. Get through the first half gallon by noon, 1 o'clock at the latest. You're gonna have less bathroom breaks in the evenings and into the night hours, correct?
Oh yeah, absolutely. Otherwise, you're just going to be up all night. But I would also say that being one of those hard things to do is time management. Everybody struggles with it. And it's just learning to get better day by day. Your first couple of days are not going to be perfect. You're just going to have to get up, kind of go through the motions. And what you said with coffee, like a lot of folks, first thing they do, I think it's 80% of Americans, is the first thing they do is drink a cup of coffee. Just get that in and be good. I think that was also what helped me out was cutting out my morning coffee because I wanted all these sweets. I wanted a bunch of other stuff. And cutting out my morning coffee helped me with the water because now every time I wake up, all I see is water. I don't see any other option. I think that's helpful too. It's a little bit more extreme for folks, but that's another option.
Yeah, you don't want to see me without my coffee. Just saying. But I get the coffee in and then right away we start that water. And then I just keep it close to me. Don't let that thing run away because if
Yep.
it runs away, it's out of sight, out of mind. You're going to forget to drink it. You keep it right next to you in your eyesight most of the time, you're good to go. So that's definitely something that's been challenging, getting that gallon water in every single day, staying on task with that, along with getting 2 workouts in that are 45 minutes, whether it's through 2 feet of snow or inside lifting. I know that we sometimes do 2 days of walking because that's just better for our bodies and what we
Yep.
need. But as you and I know, if you don't have a plan for those 7 days a week, 2 times a day, it's going to be really hard to follow through with those 2 workouts.
Absolutely. You have to have a plan. You have to know what you're going to get accomplished that day. And you're going to have to squeeze it in with work and life and other responsibilities for folks who have children and spouses. Like, you got to squeeze everything in. And that's the hardest part is the time management. But I feel like if you come up with a good concrete plan, you know when you're waking up, you know when you're going to sleep, and you plan everything in between, you'll be good to go. It just takes some time to practice.
For sure. And this walking pad that I have in my office, I'm in my office right now with a stand-up desk, walking pad underneath. It's been amazing for me so that I can walk, get things done, and feel more productive. And it just helps me fit things into my day more easily.
Yeah, absolutely. You start with that every day almost, it feels like. That's your home.
As long as, yeah, as long as my work schedule allows. There are a couple days I have to be to work by 6 a.m. So walking on this thing at 4 a.m. is not happening, but I still focus on getting my steps in, my workouts, etc.
Um,
But yeah,
That's a good place to stop.
stop. I mean, we could talk about our workouts a little bit. We have 4 times a week,
Oh, yeah, that's true.
like just a full body lift. And then the other days we plug and play walks. I mean, why overdo it? I don't want to completely exhaust myself, be too sore, and hurt myself. So I think that's a really important thing that we should talk about, where you balance out your workouts and not run yourself into the ground for the wrong reasons, as we talked about.
Yes. Avoid any sort of ego lifting for my bros out there, because that's something that I did my first couple times through is I would say, oh, well, I didn't realize I'm going to be lifting 5, 6 times a week because that's what we were doing the first go around. And I would use a lot heavier weights that I would do when I was only lifting 2 times a week or 3 times a week. And you don't give it your body enough time to rest, you overtrain, you don't see any progress. And that was my biggest problem. The first go around of 75, I was like, well, I'm not seeing any progress in the first like 30 days or 60 days. When come to find out, the progress is all mental, but you should see a little bit of body change if you're doing the right things, right? So it took realizing, hey, I shouldn't be lifting this heavy. I need to lower down. I need to slow down on my movements. Need to make sure that I'm lifting the proper amounts, the proper ways, form, all that kind of stuff.
Right. It's a quality over quantity type of thing. So
Yes.
you want to be able to recover. Getting the walks in, steps in is great for your body. Keep it moving. Your sleep is just so essential these days in order for your body to recover. So it's in my book, instead of overtraining, you're under recovering. That's kind of my theory behind it. Because overtraining, is that really a thing, or are you just not able to recover appropriately?
Probably that you're not able to recover appropriately.
Right, because you're sacrificing sleep or other things just to get what. So, as we talked about at the beginning of this conversation, it's important to know why you're doing it. You're not just doing it to do it or searching for an outcome such as a body look of a look of your body, a certain weight, things like that. Please don't do this for that. Do it so that you prove to yourself you can do more than you think you can, and in the end, you're going to learn so much more about yourself as well.
100%. You learn a ton about yourself. You learn what excuses you make to yourself. You learn how to override your own programming because we're all programmed in a certain way to just leave it as status quo. It's hard to get up off the couch and be like, oh, it's time for my workout, time for the second one, time to go outside in -20. Nobody wants to
Mm-hmm.
do that. So you have to find ways of convincing yourself to do that every single day. And that's where you start building that discipline. And it changes from motivation into that discipline. But yeah, don't do this because you want to look better. Do this because you want to prove to yourself you can do it. Build that, and the physical results will come after the mental results come.
Right. And it's find a support system. Like it's you first, but find someone that's in your corner, a group of people that are in your corner, whether they participate or not. Or maybe they'll just be like, yeah, I won't drink for 75 days, or I'll do a workout with you every day. Find the people that are rooting for you and will support you through this journey as well. That's been very helpful for me, I know.
Yes, same here. It takes a village for sure. I think it was
Mhm.
very, very easy to do it with you this summer because I didn't have as many responsibilities. So I could come hang out more. I could go to your work and work out that way and stuff like that. That was, of course, very helpful. This time around, it's a little harder because I'm more so on my own. And it's kind of nice to still be able to prove to myself that I can do it.
Absolutely. And as we'll talk about at some point, 2023 was a roller coaster. So um,
Yes.
we'll leave that hanger there. But the last thing I kind of wanted to say is for the book, the 10 minutes, 10 pages of reading a self-development book or nonfiction, kind of go into something you enjoy or you want to learn more about. That's the only way that I know it's been very beneficial for me. It's something I wanted to learn more about, figure out why I'm not doing habits. Like Atomic Habits, I've read 2 or 3 times now, and it gets better and better each time. So just find kind of something you're interested in learning in and dive into that. Otherwise, you might bore yourself.
Oh, 100%. I know we had a couple of books in the beginning of last journey that we didn't really enjoy as much. And it's harder to get through it. You're not retaining anything. You're just reading to read and you're not getting anything out of it. The whole point of this is nobody's watching you, right? You're supposed to get something out of it yourself. I found that if people are like me at all and have an entire list of books in their head that they've wanted to read for God knows how long, and they have it on their bookshelves and they just go, oh, I'll get there at some point. This is a great thing that forces you to be like, oh, I have to read today. I got to get 10 pages in. And again, nobody's watching you. Nobody knows if you actually do it or not, but it's you for yourself. Make sure you get it done.
I think that applies to anything. Hey, I'm going to do that. Oh, I'm going to do that soon. Hey, that's okay. But just start. Don't force yourself. If you start forcing things, you're gonna lose the whole enjoyment factor. I think we've kind of learned the hard way that there has to be some sort of enjoyment in it. Otherwise, what's
Yes.
the point?
Find that like childlike curiosity and that childlike play that, is probably very deep and dead inside of all of us. But like today, it was fun going out in the snow. Like it was rough, don't get me wrong, but it was fun to just go out and shovel, walk around, trek, jump around the big piles, like feel like a kid again. You got to find the enjoyment in anything you do. Otherwise, why are you doing it?
Right. Sledding might have been better, but adult fun as a childlike manner was fine, I guess. Frolicking
Yes,
through the snow was okay. We made it.
exactly. Just
But
barely.
overall, I would say anyone looking to kind of do some self-development, figure out themselves, a self-first concept or approach to things, 75 hard is something worth trying. But again, be open-minded. If you realize it's not the right fit for you, that is okay. But find that next challenge for you. If it's just one task on that list and you want to do that for 75 days, do it the way you're going to succeed and learn more about you.
Exactly. 100%. I would attest to that. 75 hard was not for me in 2021. And I knew that. I tried it. What was it? I think it was 7 times I probably failed it. And I was just like, well, this is not for me anymore. I'm just never going to do it. I don't think I can do it. And then I put that in my head that it's just not for me and I can never do it. And then this summer, I was like, okay, wanted to do it for so long. I think now is finally the time. It's a good time to do it. It's summer. It's not crazy outside. Let's just do it. And I did it. And I surprised myself even.
Exactly. I don't know if there's ever a right time, but hey, when you're feeling motivated to do it and the things seem right in your life, then try it.
Yep. Make sure it's right for you, the right time, right everything, right situation. Don't go into something and think that you're going to do it and then you give up on yourself. If you find out it's not for you, just don't do it. Come back to it. There's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah, or even make slight adjustments into the plan. That's perfectly fine. Follow through with what you tell yourself. It is your challenge. It is your life. So if you need to tweak things, and that is okay. If you want to do 75 medium or whatever they try to call it soft, I don't know. I think that's kind of rude, but it is what it is. So if that's more of your cup of tea, as we'd say, then just do that. Follow through, do what you're going to say for yourself so that you start to get on that journey of knowing who you are and you are capable of more
Yep,
than you think you can. You know, the things I said like 5 times now.
exactly. And we could keep rambling all day about how it's changed our lives and made us better people. Um,
Mm-hmm.
but yeah, if you have to do 75 cupcake even for a little bit, as long as you do something that's out of your realm and you're getting better, that's all that matters. As long as you're getting better every day, that's all you have to do.
Right. And our whole concept is rise up. So it's start finding belief in yourself, persevere through adversity, and then start to inspire not only yourself, but others. That's
Yep,
kind of our mission.
100%. It all starts with the thoughts. You give yourself good thoughts, you give yourself good words, and then you end up doing good deeds, good actions, good things for yourself and others. And that's the whole point of what we're trying to do here is inspire people to choose to rise up.
Exactly. I think that's all I have.
Yeah, me too.
Till next time.
Till next time.
All
We'll see
right.
you on
Sounds
negative
good.
4.
-4, exactly, of randomness.
Yep.